In this forecast video, we are forecasting the severe weather expected today throughout Oklahoma and Arkansas, as well as taking a big look at the cold air blast expected early next week. Alrighty, welcome back into another more weather forecast video. Last update, I talked about the big weather system that was going to come across the United States. We did see that happen. We saw extremely active severe weather in Wisconsin with a few QLCS tornadoes, those tornadoes along those line of storms. We also saw severe weather into Tennessee, into the Dixie Valley, as well as Arkansas, Louisiana. So it was really a big weather system. Also brought some first freezes in some areas, as well as, again, that cold air. And we may see a repeat, maybe even more significant than that, but a repeat of what we saw. But we'll get into that as we go later into the video. But the first thing we're going to look at is the severe weather forecast for today. As you can see, we do have a slight risk that extends from western Oklahoma all the way into extremely eastern Arkansas here. So Little Rock, Oklahoma City, into the Ouachita and Ozark Mountains of Arkansas are included in this. Our biggest threat today is going to be that hail risk. As we can see, we do have that hatch risk, 15% chance of hail. So our big hail is definitely something we're going to have to watch out for today. So let's time out these storms on the HRRR model as we go into later today. These will be some nighttime storms, mostly nighttime storms. So by the time we go into around 7 p.m., these storms really start to fire off there into Oklahoma and into Arkansas, right north. So just to the north of Little Rock is really where we're expecting those storms to fire off in Arkansas. So as these storms really train over these same areas, we could see a flash flooding potential with these storms as they keep going over the same area and really north of Little Rock. We're going to have to watch out for that as well. But again, that severe weather, that's the biggest threat for today, not that flash flooding, but we'll be watching that flash flooding. And as we keep going here on into 9 p.m., we do see those storms really get more widespread across Oklahoma, maybe a few rumbles of thunder and some downpours there in Oklahoma City as well as Little Rock by the time we go into 10 p.m. And as we keep going there, that becomes even more widespread. And then into Oklahoma and Arkansas, these storms are expected to move east, but we do see a cluster line of storms in Oklahoma here, and that's going to cause for that hail threat to decrease and that wind threat to increase here and enhance here, some rain as well and some showers over there south of St. Louis by the time we go into early Sunday morning. So this is about 1 a.m. here on Sunday. And as we keep going here, this all these rainstorms and downpours and a few severe storms come together here by the time we go into around 4 a.m. here on, again, early morning Sunday, and then the severe aspect will go increasingly down as we go throughout the day on Sunday. And as we go throughout the day, this will weaken significantly, but we will still see shower activity from Texas all the way up into the northeast from this from the moisture coming up here. But most moisture will stay into Texas and into the southwest here, into the southeast as well. But again, as we go into Sunday, this is expected to weaken. But as we keep looking at this, go back to what we were looking at. Again, those storms are expected to fire off by the time we go into later tonight, so say 8 p.m. Then as we go into 9 p.m., more widespread. And then as we go into early Sunday morning, so a few rumbles of thunder, some damaging wind there in Oklahoma City, Norman, as well as into Wichita Falls in Texas. We're expecting this to go into a kind of line of storms, or big cluster line of storms here from Arkansas into Oklahoma by the time we go into really when people are waking up there in Arkansas and Oklahoma. And then this is expected to significantly weaken again as we go throughout the day on Sunday. We won't be having to worry about that. But as we keep going here, you can see we're expecting a lot of moisture coming up from Mexico, which powered those storms we are expecting today in Oklahoma and Arkansas. But that moisture is going to keep on coming up into Texas, into New Mexico as well. So we're going to be watching for those plumes of moisture, a lot of moisture there in Texas. We're going to be having to watch for that flash flooding as we go into the coming days. But now that we're done with the severe weather forecast, let's hop on over to the medium to long range forecast here. For cold air, we are expecting a big cold air mass to come into the United States early next week. So Monday, Tuesday, into Wednesday, we're expecting a huge cold air mass in the Midwest and on into the eastern United States. So right now we do have some cold air over there in the Great Lakes, some snow showers there in Wisconsin as well. Northern Wisconsin, we're seeing some snow as we go into later today. But as we go into Sunday, we start seeing the sign that the really big cold air blast is about to come down. And as we keep going here into Sunday, into Monday, we can see that that cold air blast comes down very fast, and some snow as well is possible in the Great Lakes. We're going to look at those snow totals in a minute here, but that Great Lake snow in the UP of Michigan, into the upper mid of Michigan, and even along, let's say, Lake Erie and Lake Huron as well. We could see some snow as well as over there along Lake Ontario. So some snow is going to be accompanied with this in the Great Lakes region. So Erie, Cleveland, into Michigan and the UP of Michigan. We're going to be watching you guys for some snow, maybe your first snow for a lot of places here. And that cold air is going to bring very below average temperatures all the way down into the southeast. Even though these blue lines don't extend that far, we are expecting cold air all the way down into Florida. Basically, this is what we're expecting. We're expecting a big punch of cold air, and that's going to bring below average temperatures, as you can see here, looking at the outlook here for the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. We have above average temperatures over here in the west, but very below average temperatures over here in the east. So if you're over here in the east, into the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, expect those below average temperatures as we go into early next week, into the coming days. There's going to be a punch of cold air, and you're really going to have to bring out the jackets there in the Midwest into the East Coast, and of course the Ohio Valley, and even the Southeast too. We could see some pretty below average temperatures. Some rain over here in Maine into New England by the time we go into Tuesday into Wednesday, and again some rain but some snow mixed in there in the Great Lakes region. In early next week, we could see periods of snow along the Great Lakes as we go into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we're going to be having to watch that. And then as that low pressure increasingly becomes weaker, we do see this come up, kind of hide up into Canada. And as that low pressure system really weakens off, backs off there, this cold air is expected to back off. But really all next week, we are expecting that cold air to stick around, especially in the eastern United States. A few days of cold air in the Midwest, but mostly the long period of time for cold air will be for the eastern United States. So a few days of wearing your jacket there. And then by the time we go into, not next week, but the next week, we do see that warm air rebound, and we probably won't see a cold air blast for a while here. So let's look at the last thing we're going to look at here. And you can see this is our snowfall forecast. We're expecting measurable snow possibly over here in the UP of Michigan, into the upper mid along Lake Michigan. So maybe our first snow over there in Detroit, maybe a little bit, a few flurries across Michigan where we could see our first snow. Cleveland as well, we could see maybe half an inch of snow, so maybe our first snow. I know you guys are probably getting excited because of this, but again, a lot of snow is expected, especially in the UP of Michigan. We're expecting probably 3 to 8 inches in the UP of Michigan, really in the eastern parts of the UP, the upper peninsula there is where we're expecting our biggest amounts of snow. Alrighty, that about wraps up this video. Again, we're expecting a big cold air mass early next week, say Monday into Tuesday, into Wednesday, across the Midwest, into the East Coast. Many days of cold air. Again, you're going to have to bundle up there as we go into next week, as well as we did look at that severe weather forecast today in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Make sure you are weather aware for that severe weather. As always, stay prepared out there, and I'll see you soon with more weather.